metropolis that is Stagecoach, Nevada. On a windy Tuesday morning, I'm out here shooting a story at a fire station for Colaway News Now. And, you know, it's just pretty clear. No one takes you to the places that I take you. I mean, I know that plenty of vloggers go to San Antonio and Los Angeles and New York and, you know, really cool cities like that. Leave it to me to take you to a town with only a couple hundred people, with tumbleweeds blowing around on Highway 50 right here. No one else does that. Got a hand history for you momentarily, but I'm not going to do it from here because it is just too damn windy. Alright, so one thing to keep in mind is that when you're playing in a short-handed poker game, your opponents, unless they're really good players, they often do not adjust to the fact that the game is short-handed. Yes, they'll play more hands, but they fail to realize how the value of hands skyrockets when there's fewer players in the game. And that's an important concept to realize, and it's something that certainly came into play for me in a hand this past Sunday. So what happened was, it was three-handed. It was actually a local legend by the name of Mr. Z. He was one of them, but he actually wasn't the main villain in this hand. So it was three-handed, and we're actually playing 3-5-10 with the $10 mandatory straddle on the button to spice it up when there's only three of us. So I'm in the small blind, first to act with pocket kings. I go ahead and make it 40. Button calls. Big blind calls. Flop comes Queen 9-3 with two spades. Now this is a really good flop for pocket kings. It's going to allow me to get called from some draws, and it's going to allow me to get value out of any queen, certainly, that either one of these two guys has. So I'm going to bet pretty big here, and I actually probably should have bet bigger, but I bet 110. Button doesn't even think too long, and he makes the call. And the big blind throws his hand away. Heads up to a turn, which comes an offsuit 10. I bet 160, and this is another example where I definitely could have gone more. He doesn't think too long, and he makes the call once again. And the river comes the deuce of spades. So front door spades get there, but how likely is it that he has one of those hands? Certainly it's, you know, it's going to be, I think, fairly likely that he still has just a queen here in this spot. If he does have just a queen, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get a bet out of him. I'm going to have to bet it myself, because he'll just check it back if he just has a queen here. He might even check back two pair if he has that here. He's not going to bet it for value, but he's going to call me with all of his queens, I think, if I bet small enough. So I bet a relatively small amount into the pot, and I toss in a hockey puck and announce 200. 200. I'm hoping that he at least thinks about this call, but he doesn't. He just says call. And he shows Jack 5 of spades. So a premium pre-flop holding. He gets there on the river, does not raise, and takes down the pot. And, you know, I don't think it's the worst decision in the world to defend your button straddle with Jack 5 of spades in a three-handed game. It's not a play that I would make, but if you make a flush against a guy who's been raising pre-flop and betting the entire way, you've got to get more value than that. You've got to at least try. Especially given the fact that the game is so short. I'd probably be trying in a full ring game, but in a short-handed game, it's just a no-brainer. You've got to raise that river. He didn't. Not that I was going to call anyway, but that's beside the point. Still, the hand worked out for him, obviously a lot better than me. So that was an interesting hand there. I end up losing a big hand to a poker pro later on that I'm just mad at myself for getting into the spot I got into with, even though he ended up bluffing me off of it on the river. Kind of got away from my whole policy on try to avoid playing against pros, and I actually ended up taking a $1,200 loss on the day, and that was the final session that I played in the month of March. And the month started off so hot for me, and then I went on a brutal downswing afterwards. Funny enough, it was right after I bought my Tesla Model 3, which I'm dubbing the new car downswing. Back in 2012, I bought my Scion XB, which you've seen in some previous vlogs that I've now sold. Right after I bought the car for $19,000, I went on a $10,000 downswing, the worst I'd had to that point. And I haven't really had much worse since. But right after I got the Tesla Model 3, I went on a $7,000 downswing. But due to the hot start I got off of in March, and due to a couple of wins I booked last week, I still managed to eke out a small win for the month, which I will certainly take, given how bad it looked at one point there. I'll probably try to update you on a monthly basis on how things are going for me, because if I update you on a yearly basis, gossipers will gossip. That's how it works in a small town like Reno. They'll talk about it, and some will say how unimpressive it is. Others will say how they don't believe it. So maybe I just on a monthly basis, I'll try to work some results in. If any of you have thoughts on that, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear in that regard, let me know. Or if you just don't care about that, let me know too. Maybe I'll factor that in. But that's my plan for now. But only one part of my plan. The other part of my plan is to head to Vegas. Next time you see me, that's where I'll be. Going to be making the drive down on Sunday the 7th. Going to be shooting a couple of episodes of Silver State Sights. And then hanging out there for a few days, playing at the Wynn and the Venetian most likely. Those are always my two favorite spots to play in Vegas. So maybe I'll see you there if you want to say what's up. Maybe our boy Jeff Boski will make an appearance on the next vlog. So you can definitely look for him there. I'll be leaving Vegas Wednesday, probably around 11 a.m.
In the way of blue skies and sunshine out there, look for a high of around 67 or 68. Same for Monday. Then we're back to storm weather starting on Tuesday through next Friday. Morning low tomorrow, about 34. Movie tonight, Ben. We got one at 2 o'clock with Zombo, your host. What's the name of the movie?
We do have one with Zombo at 2 in the morning, and I thought I had it.
What?
And what did I do with it?
Oh, no, Ben.
Oh, no.
No, I don't know what it is. It's at 2 a.m. though.
Ben.
Coming to you between shows here at Colo 8. A couple of vlogs back, we had a bit of a rounders bit on the vlog, and that featured one Chloe Ortega. I call her Claudia, that's her full name. She is now leaving Reno, sadly, but she provided us with so many laughs over the last year and a half here at Colo 8. And it was only fitting that she gave us one more laugh on her way out the door. Take a look at this video. She had like a champagne thing. It wasn't actual champagne, but it looked like a champagne bottle. And she expected it to explode in like this fantastic display of confetti. And as you can see, it just kind of fizzled out.
Right this way!
Don't point it at yourself.
What the hell was that, Claudia?
I don't know. I think you opened it wrong. That's okay. I opened it wrong, apparently. All right, just throw it up and down.
Get it, go, get it, go.
In typical Chloe fashion, what do I do? Don't give me a rose.
And it was an epic Claudia moment on her way out. Cannot get enough of those, but I guess we're not going to be seeing them anymore. I guess she's going to be in LA though, so those of you who play at the Commerce, maybe I'll run into her there. Who knows? Oh, also in the month of March, check this out. My dog Leo's 3rd birthday. Yes, that's him. Full-grown golden retriever. We got him a puppuccino, as they give you at Starbucks to celebrate that 3rd birthday. Gave him a treat as well. He's happy with either one. 3 years old now, our boy Leo. All right, headed down South Virginia streets in Reno here on a Friday. The worst feeling in poker. That's something that is debatable, and I don't want to get into that debate, but this is something that's definitely got to be in the running. If it's not easily the worst, it's got to be one of the worst. So what happens in this particular hand is I'm under the gun +2 with ace-10 of hearts, and I make it 20. It folds around to the small blind, who is a maniac, and if you've been a loyal viewer to this vlog, the same maniac who got me for the massive hand back on vlog 4, which I think is still the most viewed vlog I've done, thanks to the ridiculousness of the title and the ridiculousness of what happened in that hand. And he 3-bets me out of the small blind to 75, and I think I have a pretty standard call against him in this spot, especially having position on him. So I make the call with $150 in the pot. The flop comes out 10-6-4 rainbow. Obviously a very good flop for me, but he goes ahead and bets out 125. Folding's out of the question, and I think it's a little bit too thin to raise here. I'm going to get him off all of his bluffs, and he's going to continue on, obviously, with all the hands that have me beat. So that leaves one option. I make the call, and we go to the turn, which comes a 3. And I believe it completed the rainbow. So no flush draws possible on this particular board. And he checks. So definitely a spot where I could bet, but given the nature of this particular opponent and how he plays, I thought there was a pretty decent chance that if I checked it back, that he would fire big on the river as a bluff. So with that in mind, that's what I decided to do. I checked back the turn, and the river comes off a queen. So he's first to act, but I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do if he checks to me here. And I was definitely going to value bet. Problem was, he didn't check. He bets 600. So now it feels like everything is kind of come into place for me here, right? Just what I was hoping would happen has happened. I just didn't expect him to bet that much. But then again, if he's going to bluff, he's probably going to bet quite a bit. I didn't like the queen on the river, but I didn't see how that really came into play. If he had a queen, I don't think he'd be betting that much. And by the way, he'd been drinking a lot. Now that's commonplace. He's got a high tolerance, but he'd been drinking quite a bit that day, even for him, which is saying something. So I'd already planned to make this call. I checked back the turn with the explicit intent of bluff catching the river. But for some reason, I still didn't feel that good about it. I decided to make the call, and he says, I just have a queen. He shows me Queen 9 offsuit, being the hand that he 3-bet me before the flop with. So the worst feeling in poker is recognized in this hand, and that is when you know someone's bluffing, you make the call, but you can't beat them. Still got a couple of weeks left on my trial of auto drive on my Tesla Model 3. As you can see, that blue icon there means you're in auto drive, and the blue lines at either end of the car show you that you're perfectly in the middle of the lane. Pretty cool feature. Not sure I want to pay an extra $7 grand to have it permanently installed though, but I've been enjoying it on this trial run. All right, one more thing to point out here, by the way. I talked to our boy Jeff Boski, and it looks like on Monday, April 8th, we're going to do a meetup game. It'll be a meetup game with Ben and Boski at Encore at 6 p.m. So I know every other vlogger has pretty much taken part in these meetup games. I'm probably the only one that hasn't. So this will be fun for me. Stop on by Encore, 6 o'clock, April 8th, with Ben and Boski.